Hey everybody, welcome back. That's the wrong save file. To Northernlion, please. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. One day, if they keep making expansions for this game, which I don't think they are, but the intro is gonna be like 90 minutes long. Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, and also there's another one, Super Mega Eternal Edition here, 2021 version. Don't laugh, it could happen. Isaac is like tapped out here. I'm gonna do a normal style run. Eve, if you would put money on her being the first posted note that gets filled up, you would be like, you know who you're talking about, right? You're talking about Northernlion, doesn't even know how to use the razor blade, doesn't understand it as an item. By the way, she doesn't start with the razor blade for whatever reason, even though it says she does 0MJH PMDR. PMDR is the penal commander. Not in a fallacious way. It's the prison's commander on like a military ship, like in the third Alien movie that I've never seen. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway. It's a weird layout for a floor. We were only one room away from the boss fight to start with. I kinda want to get hit once to go into the Whore of Babylon state. I know we've unlocked the razor blade. It's like the game lied to us. Said Eve now holds the razor blade, and then later it had its fingers crossed. Do you guys subscribe to that notion, by the way? The answer's probably no, because I imagine most of you that are watching this are in the double-digit ages. I always thought that was kind of BS as a kid. We can't reroll, so I think we just take Blood of the Martyr. It's good. It's just maybe, or is this one of the ones I underestimate or one of the ones I overestimate? I thought I overestimated it because it made my tears red, and I always assumed that was like a damage quadrupling before we had the HUD. But yeah, even as a kid, people would be like, hey, I promised to come to your birthday party. And then they don't come to my birthday party, and I go, you know, Michael Hansus, what gives? I had my fingers crossed. This is totally not a real story, but I wanted you to believe it was a real story momentarily. Michael Hansus is a former center for the Chicago Blackhawks, Los Angeles Kings, Philadelphia Flyers, etc., etc. Anyway, I don't buy into that notion. I think if you say something, you should mean it, unless it's obviously in a satirical context. I don't want the same rules that I apply to other people applying to myself. I didn't realize, actually, not only were we one room away from the, ooh, that's pretty much garbage. Not only were we one room away from the deal with the devil, or the boss fight, I should say, we were actually on an XL floor, which means that that first time we got hit ruined our deal with the devil chance. But, you know, you can still beat the odds. Pick a number between 1 and 100, and I'm being honest with you. Do it right now. Pick a number between 1 and 100. Do it! Did you choose a number between 2 and 38? If you did, your 36% chance just panned out. Congratulations. If you picked a number that was higher than that, well, you're terrible at this game. It's not random chance. I expected you to mine my psychology for some useful information, and you know what? You let me down. Moving on, though. We have one more Tinted Rock. Ooh, we might as well at least pick up Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, we can use it. I just don't like to use it because it kind of stinks. It's just not really a good item. Some of the times it can help us, some of the times it can screw us pretty badly. We could potentially engineer a cube of meat to show up by using it, and I'll use it again. I don't know what that one was. Doesn't look like our map has changed. So I think we got the shovel and then something else. I was hoping to get Book of Revelations and create a cube of meat, but it's a pretty low percentage play, so not overly concerned. Plenty of spirit hearts and hopefully an eternal heart maybe, or, well, disregard. Also, don't really care about the shop, but the exception will be if this is the secret room, which it is not. Alright, kind of a waste of 2 bombs there. Let's move it along as we go down to the Duke of Flies. The run seems okay so far. I mean, damage-wise, it's very good. We're working towards Bookworm, which I think is one of the, like... It's one of the best transformations, but only because, like, a lot of the transformations are just kind of jokes. I mean, it's no Guppy transformation, it's no Beelzebub transformation, but it's probably better than, like, the Mom transformation, or, you know, Fun Guy or something like that. Either way, though. Champion Monstro is gonna get taken out here. And we got nothing to worry about except rolling the dice. Lucky us. Pretty terrible deal. You know what? We already have Mega Satan. Still, let's try to make some deals with the Angel happen here. In that case, I won't take the HP because I don't want to ruin Whore of Babylon. It's a pretty big component in our overall damage right now. We'll just... Is this another XL? It is another XL floor. Dude, it never ends. But also, this makes it faster. I'm trying to think of a real-world analog that makes any sense there, and there just isn't one. We could just get through this quickly, pop this open. 5 extra bombs that also do some poison damage. And then infinity extra bombs that also do some poison damage. Dude, have we seen... No, we have seen golden keys. I'm trying to think, like... I get so confused about what we have unlocked and what we don't have unlocked as of this point in the game because, like, there's a ghost of a memory in my head. What it meant to be, will expect of me, I tried so hard. Dude, that was like verbal spaghetti, but also, apparently that's how my brain remembers the lyrics to In the End by Linkin Park. There's a ghost in my memory. And it says, hey, we could just get, you know, Holy Mantle here. I guess we could get Holy Mantle. We could just get this item, we could just get this item, but they may or may not actually exist in our overall save file as of just yet. I think I figured out the pattern, though. I mean, I should know this considering I've done it before. No reroll machine makes me an unhappy camper, but let's see. Spider Mod's okay. Mom's Key is pretty good. But I'm not looking for pretty good. If I was looking for pretty good, I'd go eat a ham sandwich right now, but I'm not gonna go eat a ham sandwich right now. I'm gonna hold out for maybe, you know, a prosciutto sandwich on focaccia, freshly baked. I'm not in the interest of just being pretty okay here. That's actually not true. My wife is away right now, so I've been eating just garbage. Pretty much just... And it's not to say I've been eating unhealthy, like a couple of nights ago. I went to the grocery store. I bought 2 red peppers, 3 jalapenos, 2 green peppers, 3 cans of crushed tomatoes, bunch of beans, beef stock, ground beef, etc., etc. Made myself an enormous pot of chili. The macronutrient breakdown on it, I assure you, is incredible. I won't belabor the point, though. It's a healthy meal. I don't know why chili is one of those foods that I feel like people assume that it's unhealthy, even though it's basically a stew made with a lot of vegetables in it. But anyway, I digress. But when it comes to... I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but there is a person inside of me who is like Oscar the Grouch, like he lives in a trash can. And when your significant other is there, that gets suppressed. You know, because I can't just eat 2 spoonfuls of peanut butter for lunch because I could be judged. You know, my wife could come out of her office and be like, why are you eating peanut butter for lunch? And then I got to explain that deep inside of me, there's a man who wants to live in a trash can in there. You know, it's a little bit, it's too real. So now that she's not here, I've been maintaining a pretty adult regimen. You know, I've done the dishes, I've done the laundry, cleaned the house, bought the cats some cat food, cleaned the litter box, etc., etc. But also, if I have like 10 minutes for lunch, I'm like, what if I just took a slice of cheese and some ham out of the refrigerator and just rolled it up? Maybe put a little bit of Nando's extra hot piri-piri sauce in the middle. That's not... That was deck of cards. That's not a good lunch. There's a lot wrong with that lunch. It's a sad lunch. And I'm not one of those people, you know. Sometimes people that watch the stream, they'll be like, you know, I had a handful of tortilla chips and, you know, a can of apple juice for lunch. And I go, that's sad. They go, that's not... No, dude, being an adult means no one can tell you that what you do is sad. No, that's exactly the opposite of how it works. If a child had that for lunch, you would say the parents are negligent. If an adult has it for lunch, you go, oh no, baby, what is you doing? That's not okay. You know, we're supposed to be eating some kale now and then at least. So I've been striking a balance, for sure. I found, like, my laziness, like, lost its luster. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I love my wife. But I was looking forward, at least a little bit, along with the, you know, the melancholy of like, oh, I'm gonna be living alone for like 10 days. There was a little bit of like, you know, Macaulay Culkin, I can do whatever I want. You find out, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but whatever I want to do gets old after like 2 days. I'm like, I can play Here's the Storm until 4 a.m. and eat food that doesn't even taste that good, but is also bad for me. Oh, I just ruined Whore of Babylon like a moron. Like 2 days in, I was like, I need a kale salad. I know this is like YouTube poison as well. You want me to be the guy who's like, nah, son, I'm 30 and you can eat Hot Pockets all the time and totally maintain six-pack abs. But I'm just not lying to you. That life holds very little glamour for me anymore. Grab that. I mean, we could have gone deals with the Angel, but I think at some point we just got to accept, like, we got a chance here. Because I know what it's like to be young. Because I still sort of am. I'm young in relation to old people. I used to be young in relation to young people. Many of you are probably in that space right now. I know, you know, you might have older siblings or, you know, your parents are telling you, they're like, you know, you can't eat what you want forever and still stay skinny. In your head, you're like, logically that makes sense. I am going to take teleport. But you're like, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be the exception that breaks the rule. 100%. Because I know what I know what it's like. You think you're not necessarily invincible. And this obviously doesn't apply to everybody. When I bring up stuff like this, oftentimes people go, well, you know, I've had 8 brain surgeries since I was born. I obviously don't think I'm invincible. Look, you're the exception to the rule. Keep it up, no question. It's very noble and it's a very human story, and I appreciate you sharing your perspective on it, but... because I thought I was in that boat as well. Let's do it. I think we should just teleport out. But I'm here to tell you that it's a good thing. You will age, you will grow up. But as you do, you'll find that it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Most of the time, I think. Every age strata, we should play that guy. Why not, right? Check all this stuff that we missed before earlier. I think every age strata holds interesting things. And I say that as somebody who has only existed in, like, what have I been at, like a toddler? Don't remember. Been a young child. Been a middle schooler. Been a teenager. Been a young adult. I'm probably just an adult now. I'm probably at the point where, you know, if you saw me get arrested for something stupid, as opposed to something smart, which I don't even know what that would be. A political protest or something. If you saw me get arrested for something stupid, you would be like, he should know better. If a like 20-year-old gets arrested for something, you know, like public mischief, you're like, you know what? They should still know better. They shouldn't have been doing it, but they're young. Everybody's young once. You see a 50-year-old get arrested for public mischief, you go, ooh, what happened? You know, it's not necessarily fair. Maybe we should judge everybody on a similar spectrum, but I think that's a valid thing. You know, I think that's how a lot of people think. But I don't know, dude, honestly, like, I like being 28. What do I like about being 28? I have a stable life. I'm kind of like, I have a routine. Things are not in flux. When I was younger, it was, you know, what are you going to be doing next year? I don't really know. They haven't released the course calendar for the 3rd year yet, so I'm not 100% sure. When you're like 11 years old, every year is like 9% of your life. So it's a huge change. Now every year is like 3% of my life. You're kind of like a similar person year over year once you get out of your early 20s, I think. But I'm looking forward to, you know, being in my 30s as well. And to be honest with you, I think I'm like most looking... I don't want to rush it, you know, I'm enjoying the roses along the way, no question. I think I'm like most looking forward to being 50. Like 50 to 55. Because I think there's just something about a 50 to 55-year-old man that, like, commands a certain level of respect. Like, when I see a kempt 50-year-old man in public, I go, you know what? That guy's probably got some stories. He's got some wisdom. He's got some lessons. He's probably, like, the CEO of Merrill Lynch. I'm not accusing him of tax evasion necessarily, but you know, every 50-year-old I meet in public is like a CEO. In my head, because I never actually talk to them because of, you know, mild social anxiety, but also the social convention of you don't just go out and talk to strangers. Like, this isn't 1920s Minnesota or something like that. People have got places to be. Probably. Anyway. I'm even looking forward to being 80. If I would, first off, it's a privilege to make it that far, I think, and a lot of people won't. There's a chance I won't. Hopefully modern medicine keeps me going until then, but we'll see. People are optimistic. You know, I think people my age, 25% of them think we're probably going to live forever. That'd be sick. I'm all in. I'm not one of those people who's like, it's only special if it has an ending. You know, look at Jeopardy. Jeopardy's special. No ending on the horizon for that. Price is Right still going. Everybody thought it would die when Drew Carey took over. There's probably other analogies that we could use that aren't related to game shows, but I'm not interested in those, okay? But I'm looking forward to being 80. You know why? I mean, there's, yeah, probably aches and pains and, you know, seeing loved ones struggle with health concerns, you know, friends maybe not there any longer. But at the same time, you can do whatever you want. You're 80. The worst thing that anybody's gonna do is be like, he's old. He can get away with it. It's not like I even have desires that could only come out as an 80-year-old. But it's just like, I would finally be able to judge people with good reason. Is that where I'm really gonna finish that one off? You think he's 80? Like, I'm so burdened as a young person. I'm expected to look at evidence and change my opinion and, you know, think about things logically and have a barometer for the, you know, societal attitudes that change over time. That's a lot of work, dude. It's much, much easier to just hold an opinion, and then if somebody goes, that's ignorant, you go, oh, come on, dude, he's 80. You to try to explain to an 80-year-old what cosplay is? A lot of 80-year-olds, I'm sure, are open-minded, you know. Some of them, you know, one bad apple don't spoil the bunch, but I'm just saying, if there's ever a time to not be open-minded, it's when you're 80. Northernlion, that's ignorant. Look, it is ignorant, alright? I'm cracking a joke. Apologies if it doesn't hit 100%, I'll be honest with you. I was gonna say I know some cool 80-year-olds, but I don't. I'm like one order away from that in abstraction. I know that there are probably some cool 80-year-olds. I don't know them. I don't run in 80-year-old circles, okay? I know, like, cool people plus or minus 5 years of my exact age at the present moment. I don't run in circles outside of that. Not as a rule, just as, like, a, I barely leave the house for the most part. What are we gonna do with the world card? Well, Forget Me Now is really more of a, boss rush escape. Give me a second here to caffeinate. And spill half of the coffee on my mouse pad. There you go. I don't know, I'm just saying. It's rough because, you know, well, it's not rough, but I talk to people. I remember, and I think I've told this story before, but, you know, we're on episode 8,000, so that's going to happen from time to time. A friend of mine in college, his birthday was 1 month before mine. He was 19, he turned 20, and I talked to him, and he was, like, visibly down. And I was like, dude, what's going on? Hey, senorita, that's astute. Why don't we get together in college? Okay, enough Paul Simon references, but, he said, like, you know, I'm old now. I just turned 20. As a 28-year-old, that sentence seems hilarious in hindsight. It kind of seemed hilarious at the time. I was like, what are you talking about? But there's people, you know, everybody's, I think, got their own, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people have, like, their own threshold for when they think, you know, young life ends and what things hold after that. I don't know. I sort of disagree. Dude, until life becomes pain, I'm happy to be there. Like, if I'm 100 and I'm in relatively good spirits, heck yeah. I hope that if I made it to 100, I wouldn't be like, I wish I was 20. I hope that every day I wake up, I'm like, oh my god, I'm 100. That's amazing. I've lived for an Earth century. I hope that I would be like that. I think a lot of people would. But I'm here to tell you, you know, life doesn't necessarily stop as you age. You got Pinochle class, shuffleboard. Me and my friends go on a cruise once every... See, I'm pretending to be older than I am right now is the joke there. 100% chance of a deal with the devil here. I'm just donating as much as I can because we can. Can't believe we haven't gotten any more damage since the first XL floor. Although I would like to make boss rush, I also accept might be a little on the close side. I think we got a decent chance, but oh, that was a bad bomb. It wouldn't surprise me if we just walk into the freaking blue fire. Wouldn't surprise me if we just slightly whiff on being able to make it. Just realize our luck stat is pretty good, which is very valuable when you're relying on red hearts to drop. We could always... That's a tough one. Skirt. We could always use the devil card to make the mom fight go faster, because we don't really have like a great anti-mom build right now. But I think we'll still be able to do it like within a minute here. And if we can't, for example, because dang baby, I can't do it that fast, but I know someone who can. Luda! It's not Luda, it's Twista. You get the idea though. I guess that's my preachy soapbox for today. You know, you might say, NL, you've gone on this rant before, but at least it's not him talking about programming again, right? I don't know what. I didn't realize everybody gets so offended by the programming talk. I was kind of minding it for a joke, you know. DAE, substring indices start at 0. It's offensive to some people, even. Let's just stick to talking about the National Hockey League. Oh, hockey's not cool now? We gotta do... Okay, well, let's stick to talking about, Divinity. Oh, you stink at Divinity. Don't talk about Divinity. Oh, okay, I'll talk about, you know, Canadian culture. We hear enough of DAE, NL's Canadian. You can't win, you know? I gotta talk about these universal experiences. Cheese. Cheese is good. We all like it. Oh, I'm lactose intolerant. You know what? Get out, then. Get out! I've had enough of this. I don't mean that. I'm just... We gotta take the negative there. I know you were thinking he's gonna forget the negative. No chance, buddy. We were 7 seconds too short for boss rush. Well, we're just going to the negative path, so we might as well just use Forget Me Now right now to get another item room. I should say to get another item room at minimum. Ooh, that's pretty solid. I don't want you to leave if you're lactose intolerant. That was ignorant of me. But there's always, like, don't take this the wrong way, people who are lactose intolerant. You got no choice in the matter, alright? But you do represent everything that I hate on this planet. That's not true. You represent some of what I dislike on the internet, which is like, hey, cheese is good, and then someone in chat goes, well, what if you're allergic to it? In this case, I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's a very valid reason to not like cheese. You know what's weird is that, like, we as a society, or at least me as a judgmental person, we treat some allergies as more real than other ones. Like, if someone goes, well, I'm allergic to peanuts, everybody goes, oh, that must be hard. Some people, I just dropped my mouse pad on the ground here, but some people, and I'll never understand this line of reasoning. I know that some stand-up comedians hold it. I don't hold it against them because they're telling jokes, but at the same time, they go like, if I want to eat peanuts, who cares if it's poison for some people? I should be able to eat them. They should be the ones who are treated as lepers. What is wrong with you? That's an extremely, oh no, baby, what is you doing? What have you built up a tolerance to arsenic? You start taking it out everywhere, dusting it around. Well, it's not my fault you haven't built up an immunity to arsenic. NL, that's a logical extreme. Is it? Peanuts are literally poison to some people. I'll say it, okay? I love nuts. And you can take that out of context if you want. That's like the oldest double entendre in the book, but I love nuts. I could literally, I was saying earlier in the episode, I'm eating peanut butter out of the jar. I love it. If you can't, like, make a lunch for your kid that doesn't have nuts in it. You can't, you know, go on an airplane without eating some peanuts. Come on. Have some sympathy for your fellow man. But either way, nut allergies are considered like one of the valid ones. I'm guilty of this too. Some of these people go, I'm allergic to apples. And I go, come on. What do you mean you're allergic to apples? That's not a thing. Spoilers, it's totally a thing. Nick's a little allergic to apples. I say a little allergic because it's like, I mean, I guess he's fully allergic, but the symptoms aren't that bad. I had a friend in university, and I want to spoil this right off the bat, by the way. This is a real thing. He claimed to be allergic to shrimp, but only the small shrimp. Big shrimp, oh, they shouldn't have done that. Big shrimp, regular size shrimp, no problem. But you know, we had our university cafeteria, so they were using cheap shrimp, and it's the tiny stuff. And we were all like, you are an idiot. How you can't just be allergic to one kind of shrimp. You could totally be allergic to one kind of shrimp, as we found out later. That's pretty good. I feel for you, because and I think the majority of people on Earth are in this boat. I'm not allergic to anything. I think that's the norm. I'm not allergic to much, at least. Like, I don't have spring allergies, really, or, you know, summer allergies, hay fever, etc., etc. And I can eat pretty much any food. I used to, but it made me self-conscious because when I go to the doctor, they go, you know, do you have any allergies? And I go, well, like, my great-grandfather's allergic to penicillin, so we're not sure. It's like just to have something to tell the doctor. Because if I say no, the doctor might think I don't know what an allergy is. But if I say I might be allergic to this, then, you know. Surely we've got some kind of non-allergenic penicillin at this point, right? Penicillin was invented in like the 20s or something. Anyway, point is, it's silly. We're gonna, you know, we as a society think that some allergies are more valid than others. Like a shellfish allergy, 100%. Everyone goes, I get it. Yeah, shellfish, very common allergy. If I was like, I'm allergic to bananas, I think like 80% of people would be like, no, you're not. How do you know? I mean, I'm not. In this case, you're right, but don't let that distract you. Strange to me. Just some little bone to pick. You can't choose what you're allergic to. Sometimes your allergies change as you get older, too. Like, I think I might be getting mildly lactose intolerant. Either that or... Let's just... I know that we could probably take both, and permanent Polaroid invincibility is obviously a good thing to have, but why not just double up on the negative, just in case one takes precedent over the other? I don't mind sacrificing a spirit heart here to finish this off. It's either that or, you know, the fact that all of my tissues are slowly getting older and, you know, mildly not working as well as they used to is starting to catch up with me, you know? It's one of the two. Sometimes I'll eat cheese and then, like, a few hours later I go, stomach could feel better. Not quite, like, terrible yet, but could feel better. I'll rue the day. If you had to get rid of one food group, and it still maintains the health consequences. It's not like you can just get rid of vegetables and then you don't need them anymore. If you had to cut one food group completely out of your diet, what would you cut out? I don't even remember what all the food groups are, to be honest with you, because the pyramid was built by, like, you know, the Quaker Oats Company. Should have 25 servings of oats and grains every day? Oh, sorry, we meant to... That was supposed to be the one for livestock, but now it's out for public consumption. I think, you know, meat, fruits and vegetables, dairy, grains. Oh, dude, that's pretty good. Not good enough. I think that dairy is like my number one to get rid of. I love cheese. I do. We don't need it. And we don't need cheese either. I would be sad every day that I could no longer have cheese, that I had taken a cosmic wager that made it implausible for me to eat cheese, but it's really only cheese. There's a lot of cheeses, but I think I'd get over it. I think I like bread and rice more than I like cheese, and I think, and pasta, of course, as well, but, and I think that if you got rid of fruits and vegetables, I would be dead within like 5 years. So I think it's probably... I know a lot of you are going to say fruits and vegetables. And I respect that, because, you know, it takes different strokes to rule the world. But I don't know. I quite like them. I think a lot of people quite like them. I think the second easiest camp to get rid of is meat, to be honest with you. You can still eat legumes, as long as you got fruits and vegetables in there. It would be harder to give up than dairy. But I think it's... I mean, obviously it's very doable, because a lot of people live their lives with that dietary choice to begin with. Just an interesting question, I think. It's like the question of, you know, if you had to give up one of the, you know, the primary starches. Like, if you had to give up potatoes, rice, pasta, or bread, which one would you get rid of first? I'd probably get rid of pasta first. And I know I say it weird. That's not the subject of the conversation. You're trying to derail me right now. To be honest with you, I don't really appreciate it. Trying to have a conversation here. You know, get to know the person watching the video a little bit. Give them some questions that they can ask themselves. And in the process, maybe learn a little bit more about themselves and about the people around them. It's like a little miniature NLSS or something, but... I would dump pasta in a heartbeat. I love bread, toast, bagels, sandwiches. What about tortillas? To be honest with you, don't eat enough tortillas for them to factor in. Probably, but I wish I did. I'm jealous. I'm jealous that you apparently do. Rice would be next up, though. Bread is just like, I'm too European. Like, somewhere in my ancestral history, there was like a line of 100 generations in a row where the only things people consumed were like 3% stouts, a loaf of bread, and like half of a brick of cheese every day. I can feel it calling to me on an ancestral level. You know, every time my body's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, hey, body, what are you hungry for? It's like, eat a single apple and 8 slices of bread with a pickle. And I'm like, that's not right, dude. You sure you don't want, like, a lentil soup? No, I don't want a lentil soup. Give me a Guinness, half a kilogram of unleavened dough, and a wheel of brie. That's not a good lunch. I'm not glamorizing the bread, beer, and cheese lifestyle. Ugh. By the way, we're gonna win, like, outrageously. It's actually, like, an ideal win condition for me because we're not even gonna have a chance to fight Hush. Just remember... the 21st night of September. Just remember, we do not want to go to the cathedral. We would like to go to Shoal. We won't go to cathedral. We will go to Shoal. Any chance you could block some of these incoming shots, Dark Bum? It's not really in your wheelhouse, but would have appreciated it either way. Little cheesed. Just gonna be honest with you, a little cheesed. Kind of whiffed on these deals with the devil, I thought. Dim Bulb is doing good work for us, but really banking on kind of getting some more devil deals. We get like 3 over the course of the whole game. Mind you, we did have XL floors, so it was a little on the, that dampens your expected value. Okay, I just getting telefragged by enemies, dude. Never gets old. We're immune to explosions. Remember that. One day they might heal us. For now, we just have immunity. It's probably not actually, like, you know, in my genetics. Maybe it is in my genetics a little bit to have a preference for, like, you know, breads and dairy products, but probably actually just the way that I grew up. I don't know about you guys, but I have this feeling like in North America, like every generation we've gotten better at cooking. I don't know if that's true in other parts of the world, but, you know, Canada's a young country, all right? My the way my grandparents told stories of what their parents cooked, it was like, hey, we boiled like a pork hock and then served it with raw corn next to it. And then my grandparents, when they cooked, I didn't even, if I did not eat these as a kid, I wouldn't know they existed. And I actually, like, maybe because I ate them so much as a kid, I like them, but it's a little weird. My grandmother's, like, #1 meal that she cooked would be, like, ham. Nothing wrong with ham. But then as a side, there would be, like, these potatoes that came in a can, and then you baked them, but they're kind of, like, already boiled. They're, like, parboiled potatoes or something. This is, like, pre-cooked potatoes that you bake in the oven. My parents, you know, they're part of the radical generation that came after that. By the way, on my father's side, my grandmother's meal was like boiled hot dogs wrapped in white bread because there's no hot dog buns, and then like a can of Coca-Cola Classic. But my parents started to get into, like, you know, world foods to some extent, so it was pretty radical. But my grandparents' standards, you know, they're eating rice. Pretty wild, right? You can tell how monocultured my family is as we go back here, but you know, so we would eat things like, we would eat Indian food and curry, and my mom eats sushi, even though my dad thinks the idea of sushi is a little weird. You know, they're like the little one more step towards progressive, and then with me, it's taken a step back, and now it's because I'm eating ham and sliced cheese rolled up with a little bit of Nando's extra hot piri-piri sauce. See, it's a little bit of a callback there. That's what we call a punchline, a structured joke. It's pretty rare in this business from yours truly. Thank you for the spirit, Hart. But no, I think that's true. You know, I'll eat anything now. I mean, you know, deep-fried pig's head. I lived in Korea. I wouldn't say all the time, but frequently we, just as a side dish. You know, the idea is you go to a bar in America, they'll have, like, nuts. Some places in Korea have insects called bondegi, which are like little mealworm pupa. You just eat those. They taste like garbage. I ate them because I didn't want to be seen as unworldly. I fancied myself a little, you know, world-traveling Anthony Bourdain. They're garbage. Don't eat them. Some of you are like, but they have less environmental impact than meat. That's very true. You can still get a lot of protein out of an insect, but they taste like dirt. That's fine. If we go through an apocalypse, I'm an easygoing dude. If we go through an apocalypse, there's like a nuclear winter, and we have to eat crickets to survive, I'll eat the crickets. It's gonna be bad for my morale, but I'll do it. I'll suck it up. But as enjoying the pleasures of not having to eat insects right now is very positive in my opinion. Alright. Great work, team. Down to the next floor. This is the right way, right? Like, we've already done... Yeah, it is the right way. Oh, so, that's the problem. We unlocked the razor blade for Eve before we unlocked the razor blade as an item. So, that's an interesting one. That's pretty much trash. Yeah, we're going the right way. We're going the right way. All we need to do is get greedier mode done with Eve, and then we're set. I don't know if it's like that in other countries, because I feel like when I hear people from other countries talk, sometimes they're like, you know, this is my great-great-great-great-grandmother's, you know, sausage penne recipe, passed down from, like, the Genoa region of northern Italy or something like that. And I know when I lived in Korea, sometimes this is like an anecdote that happened to me once, but you know, talk to people who were a little older and they'd be like, yeah, kids these days, they're just eating all this, you know, North American food like McDonald's and Pizza Hut. And they were like, they're losing the touch with the Korean food. I feel like North American food has gotten better. I ate a lot of boiled meats as a kid. Maybe I was just behind the times. I grew up in a rural area. Well, I mean, I told you, like, I lived next to a farm, and the people who owned the farm had a child who was 1 year younger than me. So by virtue of the fact that we lived close together, we had to be friends, even though, like, we share no mutual interests. I wish him nothing but the best, but, you know, it was a friendship of circumstance, and that's fine. Went over to his house for lunch one day. He's like, hey, you want one of these? I say, what is it? I look at it. It's a hot dog bun with Miracle Whip in it. That's it. No, thank you, sir. I will stay hungry. And that's okay. You know, some people might be into that. Don't hit me. I just... You know what? Now that I think about it, have I become that which I hate? If I had a child and their friend came over, I'd be like, hey, you want one? They're like, what is it? Oh, it's just a little sliced ham with cheese inside, some Nando's Piri Piri Extra Hot. Some other snobby YouTuber telling this story in like the year 2040. I went over to my friend's house, he was just eating lunch meat straight out of the bag. What a weirdo. This was a weird episode for commentary. It's also like the longest Isaac episode we've had in what feels like years. And I'm happy with that, dude. We got a lot accomplished here. We never got absurdly overpowered. Dark Bum basically allowed us to ball out because we have, like, enough HP to do whatever the heck we want. Excuse me, sir. We could take a bunch of damage, but I think we actually played relatively well. You know, I was hoping to get into today's episode, get off on a little bit of zany commentary, whether or not it involved Michael Hansus. Either way, it's okay by me. I think we've accomplished that goal. I hope you guys had a nice little sojourn with me today down Absurdity Lane. We're not going to do a victory lap. Delirium doesn't exist yet, so we're just out. And black lipstick. I don't think I even know what this does. Either way, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.